Hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to our second to last video of the expansion for Castle expansion for Elden Ring, whatever one this is. We're doing the Grafted Scion. This is a decently sized miniature, so it is going to take a little bit to go over everything. So first off, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members. You guys are absolutely amazing. Can't thank you guys enough. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, share the video, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, or not, just watch it. If you are an Elden Ring fan, as I am, these are pretty awesome. But without further ado, let's go. Alright, I started with scraping off the nasty mold lines and then spray painting it in white. Just use a normal rattle can, but you can use whatever you would like. I pulled up some images on the interwebs and I found one that I liked and I followed that one. So, yeah. We are painting the top portion with some Militarium Green. Next, we are painting all of the areas around the rug that is on top of our Grafted Scion with some Basilicanum Grey, straight out of the pot. Now, this is probably the hardest, or the part I was most worried about when painting the Grafted Scion, because when you look at the images, and obviously playing Elden Ring and beating it in the expansion and whatnot, the skin is very fair. It's very light. So I took some Gulliman Flesh, 50-50 mix with some Lamia medium, and I put that on all of the skin. Be cognizant of that right leg if you're staring at the miniature that has the rug on it. So just be a little careful. For the portions on top of, I don't know, like little peacock feather type things, we're going to use some Plaguebearer Flesh, the entire thing, and we'll clean it up here in a little bit. For the undercoat of the little feathers coming down, again, I'm just following the art that I found online. We're going to use some Aethermatic Blue. Make sure you get the interior as well, where you got to stick your brush through the other side of the miniature to get that back side as well, so you don't miss it. For the scarf coming down the interior by the face, and the scarf that is on the right-hand side of the Grafted Scion, we're going to be using some Iyanden Yellow. And for the scarf or feathering or whatever that is coming down, I'm sure somebody knows, but I do not. We're going to be using a yellow, a pink, a blue, and a red. So I used Imperial Fist, Sigvald Burgundy, Ultramarine Blue, and then I used Blood Angels Red, but you can use whatever you want. And then just rinse off your brush while it's damp, and then you can blend all the colors together where they meet. It's pretty simple. For the hair of our Grafted Scion and the little piece of cloth that is coming down, we are going to be using some gray Seer. Alright, for our shield and our swords, we're going to be using some Iron Warrior. Be careful to try and not get as much as you possibly can into the two circles, as we're going to paint that with gold here in the next shot. And then also with the swords, be careful with that as well. You don't want to get it onto the gold areas that are kind of coming up from the bottom of the sword. So again, just be a little cognizant of that. All right, for the two circles, we're going to be using some Retributor Armour, and then the two sword hilts and the portions coming up from the middle of the sword, we are going to be using some Retributor Armour. And finally, for those little eyes and the peacock feathers, we're going to be using some pure white. And that'll be it for the base colors. All right, for our wash step, we're just going to be using 4 washes. Well, 3 washes and then a contrast paint. For all the metallics, except for the gold, we're going to be doing some Nuln Oil. For all of our gold, we're going to be using some Reikland Fleshshade. And then just to add some more depth to our green areas, we're going to take some Athnian Camoshade and put it onto the Militarium Green areas. You can put some onto the peacock feathers if you would like as well to give it some more depth also, but it is up to you. For the blue on the middle of the peacock feathers, we're just going to be doing some Akhelian Green. This could have been in the highlight step, but I just threw it in here, so yes. Alright, so we're going to be doing several dry brushes. This is the easiest and most quickest way to paint these large miniatures, especially something like this. So we're going to take on all of our Basilicanum Grey areas and we're going to dry brush in some Grey Seer. Again, gives you a quick highlight, doesn't maybe take forever, but it does make it look a lot nicer. For the Aethermatic Blue areas, we're just going to do a quick dry brush of Fenrisian Grey. You can also do just a regular gray if you would like Dawnstone or Grey Seer, but I went with a bluish gray. For the shield itself, we'll do a regular paint of the swords here in a little bit. We're going to do some Leadbelcher. So yeah. For all of our gold areas, to include the scarves that you'll see here in this next shot, we are doing a dry brush of Liberator Gold. If you want to do a Retributor Armour instead, you can also do that. Liberator Gold is very, very light. It's almost as if you don't notice it very well. Alright, now the skin. So we're going to do two different frame shots on this. The first one was we're going to dry brush all of the arms and whatnot with some Flayed One Flesh. Again, this is a very pale skin, so we're trying to look like that pale skin. You can do this, or you can paint everything individually. It's just going to take you an insane amount of time. What I did do is I did the face and then that front arm below the face in regular painting style. So, Flayed One Flesh on there, highlight up all those areas. And if you notice from the art, the Grafted Scion does not have any eyes, so you don't have to worry about any of that. For our really pale skin, we're going to use some Ionrach Skin, and this is almost like it's got some tones of flesh in there, but it's a lot of just gray. So we're going to dry brush that on olive to the Grafted Scion. Now, it would probably look a lot better if I would have painted everything individually. I, unfortunately, don't have that kind of time. I spend a lot of time painting these miniatures every week and then producing these videos, and those take hours upon hours upon hours, coupled with all of the other stuff I got going on in life, just like everybody else. So it does take a lot of time. I think it looks okay when you do the dry brush. It doesn't look amazing on this specific miniature. Sometimes it does look a little bit better than others with dry brushing, but again, it saved us a ton of time. But I am doing the same method on the face and the arm coming down. Alright, for our swords, we're just going to be painting the top portion as if the sun is hitting that. So we're going to do a two-tone where the lighter metal is on top, where the darker metal is on the bottom. And that's it for the big portion of the miniature. Let's work on the base a little bit. So there's several things of leaves everywhere. And you don't have to follow along exactly what I do, but I'm just picking out leaves with 3 different colors. Creed Camo, Blood Angels Red, and Wyldwood. And I'm just going through picking out leaves, and that's about it. For the base itself, except for that middle strip coming through the bottom, I decided to do something different with that. I am using Nuln Oil on the entirety of the base, except for that middle portion. And for some reason, it was hydrophilic, meaning it was scarcing away from some of the spray paint I got on. It wasn't sticking to it, which is super weird. I don't know why, but I ended up fixing it and having to go over it several times. And then for that middle portion, I am using some Ultramarine Blue and just kind of breaking up the monotony of the entire thing. So you can do whatever you want. You can paint it all in Nuln Oil. You can do Basilicanum Grey. You can do a very thin Black Legion. It is up to you, but that's what I decided to go with. Alright, to do some highlighting, we're just going to be doing a dry brush on the entire thing. So the blue portion and the Nuln Oil portion with some Dawnstone. You could go lighter after that. You could do some Gray Seer. You can do some Administratum Grey. It's up to you, but I just did the Dawnstone on there, and it looks pretty good. Not too shabby. And then your favorite part of painting this miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. And we are doing it in Abaddon Black. Now you could see from this that a lot of that Nuln Oil didn't stick, kind of like I was mentioned earlier, and I had to go through it after I'd already filmed everything and realized, oh man, this didn't work as well as I thought it was. But we ended up figuring it out and getting everything fixed up. So that's it. That is the Grafted Scion. Yeah, not great, not terrible. I wasn't a huge fan of painting this miniature. I just, I don't know. Wasn't my favorite, but we finished it. Now we have one more miniature left from that expansion, and we are going to hammer down on that as soon as hopefully this week we'll get to it. And it is a big one, so it's going to take me a hot minute to do, but should be a fun paint. But again, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members, all my subscribers, everybody who supports this channel. If you can share this video, reshare it from Instagram or YouTube or whatever, I greatly appreciate it. To the march to 100,000 is going to take us 90 years. But I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, paint on.